many of you are familiar with big data, not just as a buzzword, but what big data is, before I get into what our product does? Okay, one person, a couple of people. All right. The previous two companies probably dealing with big data. They have a lot of volume and variety of kinds of data being thrown at a network. The reason why it's a big buzzword these days, it's not new. You'd think that, thank you, that the term big data means just lots, right? Well, it's actually three things. It's a lot of variety of different kinds of data sets that are moving very fast, or velocity, variety, velocity, and then volume. And the reason why it's been such a big buzzword the past couple of years is because it's getting democratized, thanks to things like the Hadoop, the open source Hadoop ecosystem. It's an Apache project or set of projects. And what this has done is make the ability to work with big data a lot more economical and much more realistic for a lot more companies. Well, Qubole was founded by two gentlemen, Ashish Thusu and Joydeep Sansarma. In 2007, they were among the first two to put together the Facebook data platform. As we all know, that's how Facebook now drives not only value for its users by suggesting new friends, by serving up ads, showing other content, but it also helps drive revenue for the company. At Facebook, and like Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and others, these were the first companies to having to deal with an amazing amount of data very, very quickly. And so they had to invent something, and that was the advent of the Hadoop ecosystem. So at Joydeep and Ashish at Facebook, we're faced with how do we put together not just all the data sets, but be able to federate it out to a whole set of users. Hadoop was built by software developers for software developers, right? Data analysts aren't always Java programmers or Python developers. Sometimes they are, but that is one of the problems why, and leading to why only 13% of Hadoop projects in the past year led to a successful outcome. 81% of people say it's finding the talent. So Joydeep and Ashish put together this idea, why don't we take this concept of virtualizing out all the technical complexity of these amazing new open source data tools, virtualizing it and providing an interface that more people in organizations can use, just like in Facebook. So product managers can access it, product support, customer support, perhaps even developers can develop to it. And they don't have to deal with sizing clusters and dealing with file system level stuff. So literally virtualizing out the complexity. And thus was born the idea of Qubole. And they took it one step further. Obviously being from Facebook, they're born in the cloud, and so they were cloud-centric in their thinking. And so what we have today with Qubole is a platform which then allows any number of users inside a company, presumably they can write SQL queries, right? But they don't necessarily have to manipulate the hardware and software beneath it. It allows them to use a simple UI, various interfaces, and use any number of the open source toolkits that are available. You might have heard of Spark, you might have heard of Hive. They were the original inventors of Hive in the open source community. Presto is another one. But whether you're doing really high speed analysis or you're looking at bulk data, through the platform very quickly, if a customer has their stuff on AWS, Google, or Microsoft Azure, they can connect everything together through Qubole and have an interface that can be then consumed by many different people in the organization. Again, all the tools in the ready. And this helps orchestration across all the different pieces and parts underneath it. As you can see, most of the customers that we have so far are born on or after 2000, early 2000s, because they're born in the cloud for the cloud. They're putting lots of data sets on AWS, on Google, and on Microsoft. And what we're finding is that the average user can be in business and driving revenue for their business in 2.8 days, not 6 to 9 months with a reported 87% failure rate in building your own in-house. Again, all the advantages of being in the cloud with accessibility, and then Qubole virtualizes out all the complexity of those open source tools, because we have a set of experts that know this better than anyone, and you can literally be in business in 2.8 days. So companies like Pinterest, for instance, all the searches or ad serves or even recommended other pinners, Qubole is driving all that complexity for Pinterest users. Even if they're not opening up a UI from Qubole, they're using one of the development kits, and Qubole is the orchestration layer across AWS, Google, and Microsoft. As you can see, the company's still relatively early, but it was founded in 2011, Series A here in early 2013, and now measured in compute hours, it's been just phenomenal growth. We're doubling to tripling customers quarter over quarter right now. It's very easy to use. You go to Qubole.com and there's a free trial. That is our best asset, is to say, don't worry about 6 to 9 months to build your own multi-million-dollar cluster or having to find a data scientist that also codes. Connect to your data, to Qubole, and you're in business by our most recent survey in 2.8 days. Again, average user. Folks that are used to interacting with big data report 0 training required. It's a very user-friendly front end. And as a result, you can see companies, once they plug into the network, start using it 20% month over month to a greater extent. Just to give you an understanding of where the business is today, so we've crested over 50 customers. On Tuesday, we were announced as one of the CNBC top 50 disruptors. We're very, very proud and grateful for that award. And we're adding to our team in Mountain View and out of Bangalore. We're set to, according to plan, in the first quarter of 2016, we should be seeking our Series C round of financing. But so far, everything's on track and growing very nicely. So I thank you for your time, and check out Qubole if this is of interest to your business.